On a spiritual path, in a spiritual opening, it's not about putting aspects of who you are into a vice. It's not about squeezing the life out of different parts of who you are that you may not like, that may not seem to be in alignment with where you're going. It's not about pushing things. It's not about denying or repression or suppression. The control over our emotions comes when we are anchored into something that is deeper and stiller. So it's not that I'm pushing away grief or pushing away anger or repressing grief or repressing anger or suppressing them in any way. It's that I anchor into something that is deeper than the anger, that is more stable than the anger, that is truer than the anger. And when I'm anchored in that, even though, sure, people may say or do things that if I had a magic wand, I would wave away and make them say or do something differently. Even though things may happen in the universe that if I had a magic wand, I might make happen differently. I don't lose myself in anger. Anger is when I lose myself in that situation. Anger is the overtaking of my consciousness by my unconsciousness or my subconsciousness, by my patterns. I lose myself in anger. That's why so many of us, when we're angry, we say or do things that later on we think, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Or when we're apologizing to someone, we say, that wasn't me. I don't know who that was. I don't know what happened. But obviously it was us. I mean, some other being from another planet didn't, crawl into our brains through our ears or our nostrils and suddenly take over our tongue, take over control of our arms or our legs and make us do things. So who was it? If we say, oh, that wasn't me. Well, who was it? It was me. It just wasn't what you could call the capital M me, the higher me, the fuller me, the truer me. It was the pre-programmed me. It was the me stuck in a rut me. Me and my subconscious autopilot me. Me in all of the ways that I've been programmed and patterned to behave my whole life. So when I'm free of those patterns, then anger no longer has the ability to make me its slave. I'm able to recognize it. I'm able to say, oh yeah, I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming. Somebody says something or does something or something happens. And instead of suddenly finding yourself with your fist punched through a wall, or your hand having slapped someone, or your hand having ingested a 6-pack of beer, or your hand having done any one of 100 other things we later regret. Instead of that, what ends up happening is you're able to see that rise of anger. You're able to start seeing that pattern coming and realize, oh, I don't want that. I don't need to be angry. And so you don't lose yourself in it. And slowly, what actually ends up happening is you find yourself so grounded and so anchored that, yeah, you can see what people are saying or doing, you see what's happening, but it no longer has the ability to provoke you like that. You never even can imagine who that being would be. Who would punch their hand through a wall or hit someone or go drown themselves in alcohol or drugs based on the words or actions of another. So we literally disconnect completely from being so hooked in to what's happening around us. So that's the way that we deal with anger or any of the emotions that just sweep us up, is don't try to push them away. Don't try to repress them or suppress them or squeeze them. It'll just pop out somewhere else. But rather, ask yourself, who is it? Who is it in me that's acting in anger? When I know it's not me, half an hour from now, I'm going to say that wasn't me. So why give that other being control of my brain and my tongue and my hands and my legs unnecessarily? I know I'm going to regret it. It's like, would you give your car keys to your 5-year-old? Right? Your 5-year-old gets a truck, runs it around the house, loves it, and then says, I know, Mom, give me the keys to the car. You understand if he takes the keys, he's going to wreck the car or kill himself. You'd never give it to him and then say, oh, I don't know what happened. In the same way, why give ourselves over to unconsciousness? Why give ourselves over to these patterns that just keep coming up over and over again? We know it's not us. An hour later, we say, that wasn't me. But rather than getting judgmental and saying, oh, can't believe I did that again, stop it in the act. Don't allow yourself to act in such unconsciousness. Stay grounded, stay anchored in love. Realize, okay, that person, whoever's doing that, they're in the throes of their own ignorance, their own fear, their own confusion, their own anger. That's why they're sharing that with me. I can only infect you with something that I have, right? These days with our social distancing. It's to protect ourselves if the person we are staying distant from has coronavirus. Or protect them from us if we have it. But if neither of us has it, neither of us can give it to the other. I can only give you what I have. And in the same way, if someone is giving us pain and misery, you can be pretty sure that that's what they have. And so when they give it to us, say, all right, and we move on. We don't allow it to trigger ourselves. And this is where I always talk about that spiritual immune system, right? I mean, these days it's all about our physical immune system. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting sunshine? Are you getting vitamin C? Drinking enough water? Taking care of yourself? Got to get that immune system as strong, robust, mazboot, as we say in Hindi. In the same way, though, we have our spiritual immune systems. People are always going to say and do things that are not what we want. The universe is always going to act in ways that is not what we want. But if you move through the physical world with a weakened immune system, you're going to catch not only the coronavirus, but you're going to catch everything. Every time the weather changes and somebody's got a cold, you'll get it. Every time somebody sneezes, you'll catch it. And in the same way, if your spiritual immune system is weak, every time that something happens in the universe that isn't what you want, you're going to lose yourself. You're going to get angry. You're going to be miserable. You're going to feel jealous, competitive, frustrated, angry, despairing. And so it's important to make sure that our spiritual immune system is really strong. Because people are going to keep acting in their ways. The universe is going to keep acting in its way. And this is why we strengthen our spiritual immune systems with our meditation, with our seva, with our prayers, with our chanting, with our introspection. So that we're not limited to just, to protect ourselves physically. We're limited to our homes. Stay inside. Fine, for right now, for coronavirus, we need to. We're doing it. We hope you're doing it. But spiritually, we don't want to be living in a situation in our lives where there's only certain people we can talk to, certain places we can go, because otherwise I get angry. Otherwise I lose my peace. You don't want to be so fragile spiritually that everything that happens you lose yourself. Got to get that spiritual immune system strong. So that's the best way to deal with whether it's anger, whatever emotion it